we should be, I think we should be streaming live now. It's just going to take me a couple moments to get it uploaded on YouTube so I can see it over on that side. Okay, got that going. Okay, great. Can you still hear me?
You look like you froze a little bit, but I can hear you.
Oh no, yeah, it might just be like the internet issues.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
How is it now?
You're better, you're back.
Okay, good. Yeah, it looks like we may have some issues with you showing up on the screen, but we'll just go ahead and do it. Yeah, so thanks, Darlene, for joining me on my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Oh, her screen went out again. So Darlene, I met Darlene through my good friend Sharon, and I was looking for, at the time, I really wanted a custom made frame drum, and specifically I really wanted one that was made out of bear hide. And bear hide is not the easiest thing to find. Most of the time you can find like goat or deer or other types of hides are a lot more common, but the bear hide is not. So I was talking to my friend Sharon and I said, you know, anybody, like, where could I find this? And she's like, oh, I have the perfect person for you. So yeah, so she connected me with Darlene, and Darlene made me this beautiful, like gorgeous, I get compliments on this drum wherever I take it. People are just like, oh, that's the most beautiful drum I've ever seen. I'm like, I know. And I wish I had it today, and we'll have to come on and do this again so I can actually show it to everybody. But it's it's this marbly kind of pattern, and it still has like some of the hairs on it, and it's nice and soft. And yeah, it's amazing. And I've had like so much joy out of that drum. So thank you so much for making that for me, Darlene. And thanks for joining me on the channel.
You're very welcome. Similar, but this was my first drum, and I've made many drums. So this is a bear as well. So I guess a bear is in the air today. Now flip it around so you can see the back.
So your first drum was also a bear.
Yep, that's what I was called to do. So wow. I made the bear, and I don't know if you can see the little bear in the back of this. This was gifted to me as it was a pendant, and I wanted to incorporate in the back of my drum. So that's what I ended up doing.
Wow, that is so cool. So what, I'm so curious now about this, because I didn't even know that your first drum was bear. Was that just something like that just like came in for you as a message, or how did that work?
Yep, I wasn't feeling anything else, and I work with bear medicine. So my past life, I was a Native American shamanic bear medicine woman, and in this lifetime I was on some land in Barrington, New Hampshire, and I found that that's where my past life was, and I actually found the grave there. This is an experience I don't share with a lot of people. And on the place as I've done a journey for the last 2 years, landing at this little place that I was at in Barrington, just opened my eye. My daughter, who's now 20 as well, and through multiple people, dowsing, spiritual people telling me there was a grave in my land. A dear friend of mine, June Evans, who's a psychic medium, told me I'd find a pink and white rock. And I was like, June, I own 45 acres of land. Where am I going to find a pink and white rock? So we found the pink and white rock, and it's about as big as my thumb. So through that, I really started to really believe in magic and spirit. And I have the whole Native American tribe and spirit on the land. I had left that land about 1.5 years ago, decided that it was time for me to move on and move to something different, something new. And I'm 56, going through a divorce, and decided that it was time to leave that abusive relationship. So I can't wait to see what spirit brings in for the next few months.
Wow. Yeah. And good for you. Good for you on, putting yourself first and really honoring yourself. Cause I know Relationships can be really difficult to leave, especially the longer we're in them, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That's an awesome story. I love that. So, I'm just curious, how many drums have you made so far?
Probably about 40. And I've only been doing this for 2.5, maybe 3 years. So I just I've had 2 drum making classes this year, and I everybody was just thrilled with the outcome, and they made their own. So I supplied everything. I process all the hides myself, so that's a chore in itself. But I feel so much peace when I do it, and I feel like I've been doing it for thousands of years. So the processing of the hides is quite the experience. Yes, it stinks, nasty, but I just find so much joy in it. I never really thought and that I'd ever be doing anything like this, and it kind of happened.
Yeah, and
I've
you're
only
right.
made this drum.
Sorry, go ahead.
I took a class to make this drum, and I was just like completely like I know I had to do it. I've done it before. I knew I had to do it again. And my native guides have always wanted me to bring the past practices back into the present day with the twist, the modern day twist in it. So I studied some more. I kind of studied under Janie King, and I just went from there, and it's taken off, and I'm going with it and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's so beautiful that you're just like listening to your soul and listening to your heart and just following it and doing what makes you happy. And when you say you've been doing this for thousands of years, you probably have. You probably have.
I really feel Yeah, I really feel that I've had multiple lives here and past lives, and I'm this time, and I'm hailing a lot of those past lives. I'm finding that all the stuff that's happened over the years to many, many people is stuff we keep bringing back in through every time we reincarnate and come back. I don't know how many people believe in reincarnation, but I sure do. And I'm excited to actually know I know now, wishing I had known it, 30, 40 years ago. Things probably would be a lot different. And again, I know that we are given what we can handle at the time frame that we can handle it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's something I definitely resonate a lot with, having past lives. Um, it's funny, there's certain time periods that I resonate a lot with, and certain areas of the world that I resonate with. And so
Mhm.
and I've had a past life reading as well. And I think a lot of people, as they're reconnecting with themselves, they're also reconnecting with that they've been here more than just this one time.
Yeah. I meet a lot of people. I do a lot of events. I also make jewelry, and I work with I take your ball and make healing wands out of them. I work with the birds with smudge fan feathers. So I do a lot of native work. And yeah, I just know that we've done this before, and I meet a lot of old souls. And it's energetically, you feel the people and you know the people.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, how do I know you? And this morning I had just did a quick, another Zoom with a friend, and she reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm going, wait, I know you. She goes, yeah, I did this light workers meeting one time in this place in Barrington, New Hampshire, and this big, huge property and this house. And I said, yeah, that was mine. I didn't realize that we already, so for whatever reason, you know, to reconnect today too. So it's awesome today. I'm grateful to be able to do this and be on your show too as well, Leigh.
Yeah, I'm so honored that you could come. I love that you're here. It just feels like a full circle, you know? So
Yeah.
do you have like a large community where you are? I mean spiritual community over in New Hampshire, in your area.
We do. Like I said a couple minutes ago, my friend June Evans and I started Lightworkers New Hampshire, I think it was 2000, was either 2014 or 2016, and knowing that. And when we first started it, it was like, okay, there's only 30 people. This is never going to go anywhere. And now I think we're up to almost 2,000, and it's
Whoa.
90% of the people in the group are from New Hampshire. And we also have a group from Mass. We have Connecticut. We have Maine. We have North Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, and North Dakota.
So
So as I'm out doing fairs, I meet people and I ask them if they're interested in starting a group. And it's just a good way to bring spiritual people together. It's a common meeting place for everybody. And a lot of times it's for posting events and doing different things and where you're going to be and how, somebody will have a question. What crystal's best for me for this? What do you think about that? So it's really, and the best part about it is become very like self-sustainable. So it's not like every day I got to go in and be on the group. It's just stuff comes in, pops in, new members, we bring them in, we welcome them, and we just kind of keep on rolling forward.
yeah, that's beautiful. And this is a Facebook group, right?
Yeah, this is a Facebook group. It's light workers, hyphen capital N capital H for the New Hampshire group. And
Okay.
then, yeah. So you want to start one out where you are?
For me? Well, I would say yes, except I'm kind of like traveling around at the moment. So
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't want to, get anything started in a particular place and then leave.
Okay. Well, we'll find
Um,
somebody else to run it while you're not there, because that's kind of what I do too.
right. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's so beautiful and important what you're doing in making those groups, because that's how we're forming community. And I mean, even though it's still online, that's still community and it's still a way for people to connect and support each other. And I think that's so needed right now, especially during these times, because, we used to have a lot more in-person type events. And now not so much of that. Are you still doing in-person things?
I'm doing a few in-person things. I'm trying to just get settled in my new home. And I've been here, I think 6 months, but I did do a few fairs this year. So I really haven't been here. So I'm just looking to, I think will probably be a spring launch type of thing where we start bringing people back together again. We'll see what England winters, as they gets pretty rough up here. So we really don't plan a lot in the winter. It's kind of our time to hibernate like the bears.
Exactly. Actually heard from somewhere, I can't remember where, but somebody had this theory that humans actually did hibernate. So I don't know if
hibernate.
I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I really do feel like in the wintertime, I do want to hibernate. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go outside. Even today, where I'm at, it's like, it's cold and rainy. I'm like, no. Yeah. So, so when you get together in these in-person groups, you're doing the drum making classes, or do you guys do other things together?
Workers group, we usually have a topic. We talk about a topic. In my drum making classes, those are strictly me doing those, and we focus. Yeah, we make the drums, and that's a 5 to 6 hour process from start to finish, because everybody gets their hoops, and I usually have them right in their hoops, and then we have the hides available. The hides are ready. They have to take and put all the nail holes in their hides. So I have everybody out in the backyard hammering and nailing and putting all their nails in. Then they pull their nails out, and then we take the lacings, and they start to lace it. And usually you lace them like north and south, east and west, and then you go northeast, southeast, so all the way around. So you do it like a compass rose when you're lacing the drums.
Beautiful.
And then they all want to play them when they're done, and they can't because they're wet. So we have to wait for them to dry.
How long does the drying process take?
Depending on New England weather, if it's a nice, warm, sunny day, they can be drying up to a day, and sometimes they can take up to a week if we do them in the colder time of year. So I think, let people know, don't put them in, like, you put them in the sun, but if it's super, super hot, don't leave them in the sun too long. Put them out for an hour and then pull them in, because too much heat is just as bad as not enough. So it can crack the hides. So far, so good. No cracked hides.
Right. Yeah. And I've been I've been babying my drum so much. Like I'm so protective of it because I don't want anything to happen to it. But yeah, so I usually, because there's different when it comes to like the drums and how to store them and how to care for them. Would you tell people like if people at home listening have a frame drum, like, or they're interested in getting a frame drum, what's the best way to store the drum and to maintain and care for it?
I just kind of go with whatever it tells me. And again, I'm very in tune with what I need to listen to. I actually have some hanging up right now in the window to get some sun late afternoons. So I have about 5 or 6 available right now. Don't let them get super wet, sure. And a lot of time with hides, it's like our skin. It'll get soft. It'll get sure if it's a humid day, they'll get what we call that. So when they're fat, you want to just put them near a heat source. If you're out by a fire or whatever, don't care. So you really have to kind of just think about what you're doing before you do it with them. I've had some people tell me they put bear grease on theirs. I've never done that. I haven't had a problem. But then again, New England, there's a lot of moisture here. So I guess in some other parts of the country, they would possibly dry out more. So then you would want to put the bear grease on them to keep them moister.
Yeah, because when you shipped it to me, when I ordered it from you, I was in Colorado at the time, and it's pretty dry out there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but I noticed when I moved back to the East Coast, yeah, it was way different. The hide was way different because of the moisture and humidity. Yep. But yeah, I like to take mine and I like to just like put it close to the fire and warm it up a little bit. And it sounds so nice.
Yeah, because a lot of times people say, my drum just popped. Did it break? I said, no, it's ready to be played. Or, they'll leave them hanging. They don't pay any attention to them for a while. And the drums will pop and crack and snap just like we do as we age. And I was like, well, it's trying to tell you something. You need to come play me. So come play me.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like super impressed too, because I think the size you made for me, I think you made me the 14-inch. Yeah, I think that's the size we decided on, but I'm like impressed.
Yeah, I think it's a 50.
I'm impressed how deep it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy smokes. And that's exactly what I wanted. So it makes me very happy.
Good. Find that the universe aligns us with the people that we're supposed to be with and work with, and it all lines up. And if you trust in that and go with it and don't fight it and say, oh, no. And, just go with your heart when you're guided and, says, hey, connect with this person, connect with that person. I've learned that's where we need to be at that moment in time. It's fascinating how this journey works.
Absolutely. And that's been a huge lesson for me over the past few years too, is just like listening and following and surrendering. And just trust it, even if it's something that comes in and you're like, really? Like, I'm supposed to go do this thing. Are you sure? And, you're just asking yourself, but yeah, I'd say definitely go and follow whatever your intuition is telling you to do. I agree with that 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do too. And again, learning over the years, just as something comes through, and I'll throw another really strange example out there. My truck broke down this week and I had to go get a rental car. And like, I'm going through my truck going, okay, what do I really need? And I have a spare pair of glasses. And I said, I got to take those. For whatever reason, I got to take those glasses. And sure enough, my other pair of glasses broke last night. And I'm grateful now because I can see today.
Of course they did.
Like, you can't make this stuff up.
You can't. You really can't.
But I listened. They're like, yep, grab your spare pair of glasses. You're going to need them. I'm like, and I'm going, no, I don't need those. And then the other pair broke. So I listened. And thank God I did, because if not, I'd have to drive an hour to go get my other ones.
Oh, man, that's a long drive. So you're more rural, like out in the country, right?
I'm actually in Nashua at this point in time.
You're in
yeah, I'm in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nashville, New Hampshire.
No, Nashua.
Nashla. Okay. Nashla.
Nashua.
Nashua. Okay, sorry. I think the internet connection, I'm having a really hard time hearing some of the words that are coming through. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so how's life going? How is everything over there on your end? What's your experience been like with everything that's going on lately?
I'm getting a lot of texts, emails, calls. Darlene, what do I do? I'm like, just keep going, guys. Just keep going. Aesthetically, it's been a roller coaster. I'm sure many of you have been feeling it. Mercury out of retrograde, that's a bonus. I don't usually get affected by Mercury in retrograde. I used to, but I'm just like, no, I stuff to do. So we're just gonna, we're gonna go through it. It's gonna work. Everything's gonna align. And I'm finding that if you set intentions, you really end up not struggling as much. It's when you let go, let this guide you, and let go of everything going on in your head, in your ego, release that, and everything can really flow pretty freely. And it's taken me many years to get here, and I've been doing my work for a long time. I think I've been over 20 years I've been doing my work. And it's now at 56, I'll admit it, I'm 56. At 56 years old, it's finally getting easier because I'm learning to simplify life and not make everything so complicated. There's no reason to have to do this, have that, do this, have that. And it's like, nope, I'm really switching into minimalistic living.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah. And letting go of all those attachments to all those things that you don't really need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to give me stuff here. You need this. You really don't. I'm really liking my house clutter free, and the fact that I don't have a ton of junk and stuff. And my biggest thing is I could probably fit myself in an RV pretty quick, but with my parts and pieces and beads and crystals and my waters and all my tools and all that, that would be a little bit of a go up at this point. But we're gonna see what happens in the next year, because there sure has been a whirlwind. So
yeah, and it's so interesting that you talk about that too, because I just posted something earlier today that I think really ties into a lot of what you were just saying, where, I think that for so long, people have believed that life is hard and life is difficult. And that's,
yes,
like, people actually say that. Like, I remember, like, my mother would say that to me all the time. Life is hard, life is difficult, life isn't easy, life isn't fair, like all these things, right? And so you start to really wonder, like, how much of my struggles is I'm unconsciously playing out these beliefs that have been like hardwired into my mind, right?
right.
So how much of my struggles has been that? And how much of my struggles has been just because, like, we're living in, like I said, we're living in a very unnatural world right now, where, really, like, what I think is that we all deserve, all of our basic needs should be met, like clothing and food and shelter. And it's totally possible right now for us to do that. And so people really shouldn't have to worry about how they're going to make ends meet or how they're going to put food on the table. Like, that shouldn't even be a concern, or how they're going to, cover their health care, right? Which should be more natural and holistic anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's the way that the world is currently set up. It's we as a collective have made it not easy. And then all this healing that, some of us have chosen to embark on, that isn't easy either. So we've had all of these, struggles and challenges and difficulties. And, my soul is tired. I'm tired. Like, my soul just wants a break. I want things to be easy. Like, I'm ready for things to be easy. And I have this vision in my mind of this new earth, of this new paradigm that we're all shifting into, where it can be easy, where we can literally all just make art and make drums and dance and eat fruit. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying, because I just left a very abusive marriage after 20, and I had my daughter, and I stayed because I knew that I didn't want her to grow up without her father, because I know once I left that we probably wouldn't have a relationship. And I stayed, I sacrificed, and I made sure that she was taken care of. And it's just the craziness and the chaos. And it's like, I don't need this anymore. And then, like, a couple years ago, I decided that I was going to leave, and COVID hit. So that changed things again. So there's been so much transformation for me personally in the last 16 months. It's blowing me out of the water. I moved in with friends, and then I got another job. So it was an hour commute. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to commute an hour. Winter's coming. I hate this drive, blah, blah, blah. Moved into an apartment. Well, the rent was $1,400 a month. I'm like, I teach driver's education as well as all my spiritual work so that I can work with the teenagers. And I feel that's part of giving back to the community and talking with the kids, and they now know that they're not crazy. And I was like, wow, all I'm doing is working to drive, I'm working to pay rent, and this isn't feeling good to me. So another friend of mine was looking into mobile homes, and I just took and purchased a little mobile home in Nashua, and it's simplistic, it's easy, it's just the right size, and I don't need any more. And the older I get, the less I want to have. And I want to be flexible. I want to be able to travel again. And just be able to like pack and go and not have to worry about it. So it's fascinating how much things have shifted, and how that as I'm getting older, I just want to keep it simple. It's like I've been through all the complicated stuff. And if we could only teach the teenagers and 20-year-olds this, that you really don't need to have the big, huge house you can't afford, that you have to work your life for, spend your life savings, pay your college tuition. They have created such a paradigm of, oh, you've got to have this and you've got to have that. Well, no, we really don't. You just need to find what makes your heart happy. And material things are not going to make your heart happy. It's you going within, really finding that core point of your heart and going, wow, I could sit with me and be with me, and I don't really care what anybody else thinks anymore. And I used to worry about what everybody thought, what we were going to do. I do me now. And I am so grateful that I have gotten to this point, and I'm so happy that I don't have to go into the whole I gotta have thing anymore. It's so freeing. So I'm really, really grateful on so many levels for that. I am where I am right now and sitting here chatting with you.
Yes, that is like the ultimate freedom is, seeing the truth and connecting with yourself and knowing what's real, right? And seeing past the
Yeah.
veil, the illusions and all of that. And I think there's just so much fear right now. And I know, because I used to be in that too. I used to be in that fear space. So I know what it's like. I know what it feels like, and I have compassion for those people. But yeah, like I would really hate to be in that place right now.
Yeah.
And something you said is just, it resonates so much, is like, do what feels good. Like that's all you really need to do. It's like, does it feel good? No, get rid of it.
Right. Yeah. If it doesn't feel good, don't go there.
Yeah,
go on,
it's like really
forward.
that simple, because we like, part of it is like taking the personal responsibility and realizing that like we are the creators of our realities, and like we're responsible for what's happening in it. So like anything that's happening in our lives is because we're allowing it to happen,
Right.
And things generally aren't happening to us, they're happening for us. There's always like some reason and some lesson and something to see in that. But yeah, just realizing that like we allow all of it. So we we can make other choices. We can go a different way. And I think people get so like, they get so stuck by these limiting beliefs.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I have to do it this way. I can only do it like this. And I think there's a lot of it that's, they're scared, because if they were to do something different, it means they would have to, people don't like change. They'd have to do something new and different. And that's terrifying.
Right. That is terrifying for a lot of people. And again, we come into this world through our parents. Our parents are teachers. They teach us what's right, what's wrong, hopefully, although I don't see a lot of that these days. But they also bring their fear of what they weren't able to do or able to get through. And then we learn that. And I remember my mother saying to me at 2 or 3 years old, Darlene, I don't know what planet you're from. And I'm like, and now I said, Mom, I'm actually from Saturn. Just a few months ago, I said, I'm from Saturn. She's like, okay. But I always heard growing up too, oh, you can't do this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Well, you know what? Here I am doing it on my own. And I've done it on my own for quite a few years. I mean, granted, I was married and all that, but I and I've done me a lot of those times. And because I am definitely a strong personality, but I know that about me, and I rein myself in occasionally. But I'm like one of those people that will like get in your face. And then you say, oh, I can't. But you know what? If you choose to do it, you can do it. And you've gotten to this point because you've allowed others to control what you do. So make up your mind, do what you want to do, take your shit and own it. And you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for you. There's nobody else that makes you you. You are you. So if you want to do you, then go out and do it.
You do you.
Yeah. And blaming everybody else for what's happening to them. And, oh, I can't do this because my mother did that. Well, it's not your mother's stuff. It's yours. Own it. It's what you need to do.
Yeah. I 200% agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm so curious too, because you said that you've been doing these driver's ed with like teenagers, right? So I had a recent experience where I was with, they were in their very early 20s, like 21 and 22. Yeah. But I was out with them for a few weeks and just like, being around them and listening to like some of their beliefs and, their thoughts about things. And it was just really fascinating. So I'm so curious to like hear more about that and what you think about like the young people and where they're at as far as their beliefs and their thoughts and what they see.
The young people, and I work with a lot of diversity, depending on who their parents are. And some of them, they're 15 and a half, 16 years old. They know they're going to college. They're going to become a doctor, a pediatrician. Other ones have no clue what they're going to do. A lot of the younger people have no idea what to do to the trades, because I'm like, guys, you're going to need plumbers, electricians, builders, you guys. And these are the kids that you've got your hands on, you've got your super smart kids, and then you've got the kids who just can't figure out what they're doing. So, and then you have the sensitives and spiritual kids who know this stuff better than I do a lot of times. And they're afraid to talk to their friends. They're afraid to talk to anybody about it. And I was that kid at 4 years old. I started seeing spirit at 60s. I couldn't talk to anybody. They would have put me in a white jacket and, tied my arms around me and set me in the rubber room.
Yeah.
So now by me being in the car with a lot of these kids, if they'll open up to me, I've had conversations. We didn't even talk about driving that day. We just went out and drove and had like this whole kind of, spiritual conversation. I did teach them their lessons though, because I always teach their lessons. But they were just like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. You really do see things and you hear things and, this is real. And they love the crystals and they get the energy and it's fascinating. But I mean, it's just, they don't know what to do with it yet. So I guess, again, I'm so grateful that I am in this position, because I asked Spirit to work with kids years ago, going, okay, how am I going to, I was thinking more on like drug rehab and things like that and alcoholism, but I ended up with them in a car, driver's ed. So they fall in love with me. And I'm not saying that from ego or greed. They tell me all the time, we love you, you're our favorite, we love you, we love you. And I don't resonate with every child. And I don't think we're supposed to, any more than I resonate with every adult. We all energetically find those people that we need to be with.
That's so beautiful. I love that you're getting to make an impact on young people in that way. That, like, what a gift, what a gift that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you learn a lot from them too, right?
Yes, I had one young lady one day. She came in, she got in my car, and she goes, "Oh, you're into crystals, huh?" And I said, "Yeah." She was doing like 190 in her mind. And she goes, "Well, I'm an empath and I do this and I see that and I'm already doing tarot." And she's 15 and a half. And then she goes, "And I'm trans." I went, "Okay, cool." So I'm dealing with a lot of different issues with their sexuality or who they're going to be. And I've got the boys wanting to be girls and the girls wanting to be boys. That one I am open to, and I'm trying to understand it more. I can't quite wrap my brain around it yet, but I'm getting there. So each one that I meet, and it's like we have different conversations, and they're just trying to figure out who they are, where they belong on this earth. And probably like you and I did when we were 15 and a half, 16 years old, just trying to figure out who we were and where we belonged in this earth. We just happened to find our truths. So I just support them. And I, unfortunately, with COVID, can't hug them because that's what I want to do anyway, is hug them and love them. Because some of these kids are just so detached from realities in so many levels, because they don't have love at home. They don't have parents at home. They're, we used to call it latchkey kid. I got a lot of kids these days. Mom and dad are working. They won't take me out driving. They don't want to do this. And I'm like, well, tell your parents you want to drive. I said, if you take the initiative, maybe your parents will listen. So I'm empowering them instead of going, "Oh, well, it's okay, don't worry about it." I'm like, no, tell your parents you want to drive. I want to do this. You got to go because you want to be out in it.
Yeah, you have to advocate for yourself, right? That's like a really important life skill, is advocating for yourself. I'm still learning that.
You and me both, hon. You and me both.
I'm still learning that. And, it's so funny when you say like, they're still trying to figure out like who they are and where they belong. And like, I'm still working on that too, to be completely honest with you.
Me too.
I'm still working on it too.
Now.
I'm still working on it too. Well, it's so great that you're able to like connect with them in that way and provide support like that. So great. And I think that there's more and more people that are talking about this now and being open about this now, like us, coming on here and having this conversation, right? Like, we're putting this out for the whole world, like whoever comes across this, whoever is meant to like listen to this information, right? And now it's going to be out there.
Yep. And I think that's a big part of what we need to be doing, is getting the information out there for those of us that have gone through experiences. And we need to just keep educating. I never thought I'd be an educator in life, but boy, is that my full-time job now. Pretty much 24/7.
Yeah,
always educating people and just trying to help them on their life's path. They came to me for a reason. I ran into them for a reason. So we all just need to just work together instead of not working together. We need to again early communities back together again, and in their communities and all that. And I think that's a big part of what we need to do again, and stop judging others. We all are here for a reason. We need to just work together and find love and peace and harmony.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that a lot of times when people cast judgment upon others, it's only because they still cast judgment upon themselves. Like, however someone is behaving and acting is only a reflection of how they feel about themselves and the relationship they have with themselves. which is why I think the inner work and the introspection is so important. Like I tell people all the time, I say self-love, that's the most important thing you can do for this planet, for all of it.
Yeah.
Is to love yourself, because once you actually start to love yourself, then you actually have the capacity to love others. Once you see the light that you are, then you actually have the capacity to witness the light in other people. But until then, you know, you're just going to be kind of stuck.
That's very, very truly. I did myself for a long time. I always put myself down because that's what I grew up with. That's what I was used to. And now that I love myself, I openly and freely love others. Now I get kind of in trouble for loving too much, but it's who I am. It's who I've become. And I am so grateful to be where I'm at this stage of my life. I just love everybody. And, you know, until something happens, I don't have any other reason not to, and I really have no right to do or anyone else. It's fascinating how human, as fascinating as
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah, and we definitely need more people like you out there in the world right now. Definitely. So,
I'm doing my best.
sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I said I'm doing my best. I can only spread my wings just so far.
That's what we're all doing. We're all just doing our best, right? Oh, oh man. So I see you have your lovely drum with you, and would you be open to playing some of it for us?
I would. I don't have any specific drumming skills. I just my heart, and that's kind of how I do it. So I'll do a few minutes if that's okay with everybody, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know how you feel after that, but like my solar plexus is just like expanded, like woo. And normally when I drum, I just get totally into it and I just disappear and I don't know where I go, but I just go and I just go freely. And I know I'm safe because I've got myself in situations where, you know, and I allow myself, and it's just a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, yeah. So you're in the flow state. You're totally in the flow
Yeah.
state. it's like a trance. It's just like a meditation. And I could feel like
Mm,
energetically, I could feel that with you. The sound was a little, it wasn't really coming through so much sound wise.
okay,
I could totally feel that energetically. That was beautiful.
cool.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're so welcome. And if anybody out there is looking for drums, they can private message me either through Messenger or I'm in transformation. It's been 2 years of transformation. I'm just rebranding as the multi shaman. So I will
Wait,
hopefully have my website.
say that one more time. You're rebranding
The
as
the multifaceted shaman.
the
I'm
multifaceted
on Instagram.
shaman.
Right. Yep. I'm on Instagram at this point in time, actually, with a picture of one of my drums, so anybody can find me on Instagram. Facebook Messenger is Darlene Doughty, and it's DarleneDoughty. And yeah, there and everywhere.
Yeah, awesome. We can definitely, I'll put in some links in the description after we get off the live so people can get in contact with you. And yeah, I highly like if anybody, if they see my drum and they ask, I tell them about you. If anybody looks for a drum, I always try to refer people to you because yeah, you guys, Darlene's the real deal. Like if you want a frame drum, she is your lady.
Thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it would be so cool too if I'm ever in the New Hampshire area. I would love to meet you and I'd love to like make my own too one day.
That would be awesome. That would be totally awesome. Or maybe I can come to you. You said you're back on the East Coast, so I'm like, oh,
Hey.
I didn't know you're back on the East Coast.
Yeah, maybe you can. We'll see. And I definitely I want to have you back on and again because yeah, I feel there's a lot of medicine in your drumming. And so I'd love to get something figured out where we can get the connection and the sound like a little bit more stable. And yeah, I'd love to have you come back on again.
I come back on again, definitely.
Yay. Well, I'm so glad that you could join us. Thank you so much for being here, Darlene. You're a light as always. Your presence is just so beautiful.
Thank you, honey. And thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to seeing when we're going to reconnect on a personal level.